What's up, everybody? We're back. It's the Chickachar podcast. I have my friend here, Charley Davis. We've been wanting to do this for a minute.
I know.
And I've just been blowing you off.
just like kidding. I am this microphone.
No, just like like I said, I just need to put it in your mouth so we can hear you nice and clear. But yeah, we've been meaning to do this for a minute, and we're finally here. So this is cool. How do we introduce you, Charley? Charley, I feel like our relationship really started when I started working at the Drake.
I mean, I've worked with you prior to that.
Like, where did we work before that?
We worked a couple events doing security
Yeah.
together. Like, you were on the other side.
Yeah.
And then I did security at several events where you were doing sound.
Okay.
And then there was a person, we won't say names, was doing sound at the Drake and was garbage and was stealing, essentially. And when you posted that,
I was
I'm looking for
you
were looking for security,
on
the security page, and so I was like, Charles is cool, let's get him in here.
Yeah.
And then you're all like, well, I'm kind of looking for sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Get you in here.
That worked out perfect. Well, because like initially, I was looking for the security thing and then also the sound thing, but you guys didn't have a sound spot. And then you guys, all of a sudden, this spot opened up and I started working there doing sound. And so, you and I both have private security licenses. And, people have probably seen you downtown. You work at you've probably worked at the majority of the bars downtown, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So people, if they haven't seen you, well, now they know. Let's see. I was gonna say, what else? So you're into this Comic-Con toy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Well, I own a small toy company.
Okay.
And I sell a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that since the beginning of eBay. Like one of my first sales in eBay was like, it was high school, so 2000. I sold my friend's virginity
On eBay. What?
On eBay, yeah.
This really happened?
Yeah. So
no way.
So I posted my friend's virginity.
Oh my God.
As a joke, and he thought it was hilarious. We thought it was hilarious, and then
did I hear about this on the Donkey Show?
I don't know. He called in to them because he was friends with them.
Oh,
and while I was MMA fighting, we were backstage and we were talking to them about it.
Oh,
and
that's maybe how
my buddy said, "This is my friend. He sold my virginity." So
how much did it go for?
25 cents.
25 cents?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
With 95-cent shipping.
Oh my gosh.
So and he literally made a contract, just legally binding, and signed it. We sent it, and I got good feedback. So
what would you send him? Like a empty box or
a contract,
used condom, or
a contract?
A contract.
The person never contacted me about it or anything like that. But someone has a legal binding contract for my friend's virginity.
Oh my gosh!
Which I'm pretty sure he's not a virgin.
Violated.
He's not a virgin anymore. So for 25 cents, that was my first. But from then on, it's like
that's hilarious.
I used to go, like my grandparents used to travel around, and they would go to thrift shops and stuff like that, and we'd find cool knickknacks and stuff like that, mainly for his shop or their house. And they had knickknacks around the house. That he loved those aftershaves cars, and they're like little green glass aftershaves. I'm pretty sure not QVC, Avon. You can buy them through Avon.
Do they have like a bunch of different little items inside of them?
No,
I'm thinking of something different.
But they I have his first one still in my collection. My uncle accumulated the rest of them when he passed, but since then, I used to find action figures galore, and then I started selling action figures, and then I got to the point where I'm selling stuff that I find at flea markets and stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool. So you have like a side hustle, or you do it primarily full time, or what?
I'm trying to do it full time.
That's cool.
It's just it's when you start a business, it's like jumping in full.
Punching the microphone.
Jumping in is one of those things that's like it's scary.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
to do it full time would take up my life, or
You'd have to, like,
it would become a
stop
full-time
doing other
job.
things. And
Yeah,
you'd have to
and-
really jump off a cliff and go for it.
It's the scary part is to be able to just to make that call and just go, I'm going to do this 100%, which
Yeah.
in theory I could very well do it.
Yeah.
But it's a scary thought in general, and so
For sure.
I'm always grinding. I mean, I have
Yeah, we see advertising selling
4
toys
jobs.
and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Little action figures and
little
stuff on
action
Facebook.
figures, little action figures, and then I have like
There's some cool ones.
I make my own Lego patterns and stuff like that, and then make directions for them and give them to people, or put it online, and they have the ability to either purchase the instructions for an X amount, and then they can have me get it for them and collect all the pieces and have it like a regular Lego set. And,
Oh, wow.
and I'll make a box for it, and then I'll send it out.
Like, what
to 'em and
stuff
stuff
have
like
you figured out? Like, what have made models to build or whatever?
I've done paintings, like kind of like Van Gogh-esque paintings. Just like,
do you have to use like different colored Legos? In
with
specific spots?
pixelation patterns and stuff like that, and then do different size pieces and stuff like that. Make it so it's like it's also abstract as well as pixelated type there. And then I'm big on robots, so I build Lego robots.
Nice.
And then like Gundams and stuff like that. And then
Those are cool, yeah.
And then people will, usually it's just the plans, but in some instances they've asked me to gather all the pieces for them. So it's just a build your own set.
Those are tight. I'm such a nerd for Metal Gear video games, and I follow these Facebook pages, and they're always like showcasing their like action figures and Metal Gear Rex and Metal Gear Ray.
Did you finally get that Build-A-Figure?
No.
No, the one that's the...
Is it Metal Gear Rex or something?
Yeah.
That'd be sick, but no.
Yeah.
But dude, I even like as an adult, I still loved playing with toys and stuff. You know, I'm always flipping fingerboards at the bar and stuff.
It's actually interesting now that, because it's either you started it or it just broke the glass ceiling on it. But I've seen so many people come in with little kickboards here at Lucky's and John Henry's and or even Starlight.
I love that. I feel like it's definitely like making a comeback, and it's such like a different thing like than it used to be, because like the fingerboards are so niche, and like they're like real little skateboards.
Yeah,
so it's like urethane wheels and like bearings in the wheels, and like the trucks and the wooden decks, and it's pretty funny, dude. You can spend like $60 easy on a fingerboard. It's so stupid.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I know I have like 6 of them, but I always like bring them to the bar with me, and I'm flipping them. It's so funny. They're like such silly little conversation starters.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know what's actually fun is like the different bar tops around downtown are fun to skate. Like the one at Starlight is like a metal bar top.
Or brass.
Or brass, yeah. And then at Big Dirty, they have like the banks. I call them the Big Dirty Banks. There's like those little sloped edges. Yeah. And then like Blair Alley has, their bar top is like, looks like a bowling alley. It's like wooden like that, you know? And so there's like a bunch of different textures. It's pretty funny. It's super nerdy, but... Yeah, you know you're about that nerd life.
Oh yeah. Robots, like robots in general. Like I have a huge collection of robots, like whether it be Transformers, old and new.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like cool in one way, like in robot form they're really cool, and then they suck as their vehicle mode, or the other way around, where they're really cool in vehicle mode and then they transform and it's all blocky.
It's hard to have a cool transformer that like looks both ways is awesome. Yeah. It's a lot of parts to like mash into a little.
Oh yeah, I definitely
space.
get it. Like I want to 3D print. Like I have plans to 3D print all these. Do
you have a 3D printer?
Working on it. But I have a bunch of plans for like different transformers. Like one of them's like it's a Bible that turns into a transformer that's like the holy.
That's hilarious.
Holy Bible Jesus.
It was Jesus action figure.
Yeah. Like they're all over Etsy, so I found one, and there was it's a little morbid, but there's one that's little ship that went down to
the submarine
the
that
submarine
bursted.
that bursted.
Oh no, it's a transformer.
It's a transformer.
What does it turn into?
A robot.
A robot.
But he has his weapons are he has little handheld controllers
Oh my gosh.
from an Xbox.
Of course they would have that.
It's a little morbid, but
Yeah.
but yeah, just robots in general. Like Gundam models,
Yeah.
kits, and stuff like that.
I used to
are
like
really
watching
fun.
that show when I was a kid. I don't really follow the storyline, but I like just the imagery and the
Yeah.
the robots are cool.
Yeah, with any anime, the Americanized dubs are always hit or miss. Like some of the voices are really annoying or not what I thought they would sound like, or
Oh yeah.
especially when you heard the Mandarin or whatever of the other version before they got dubbed. So.
Yeah. I used to watch a lot of Toonami when I was a kid, so it was like Dragon Ball and
Dragon Ball
what was
Z,
that one that was like they were in like a computer universe? It was
what
was that one? It was
God, I know.
it was like my favorite show. I can't remember the name right now. But you know which one
I
I'm
almost
talking
have
about.
it.
It was
I
on
almost have it.
Toonami. It was like right after Dragon Ball. It would come on.
That's gonna bug me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be right as we're finishing, and I'm like, oh, this.
Yeah, of course.
What else was on there? Samurai Champloo. No, that
Oh,
was
dude, Samurai
that was
Jack was sick though.
Oh, Samurai Jack. I'm thinking of Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Which was the
Yeah.
later stuff.
Yeah.
So Samurai Champloo was done by the people who did Cowboy Bebop,
Okay.
and they're samurais instead of bounty hunters.
Do you like?
from space
Do you watch that show Arthur?
with the little aardvark?
No. The like the one with like the like it's a people cartoon. Like it's I forget what it was on, but it was like he's like a secret agent, kind of like a 007.
Archer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Archer.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Archer's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, Archer is hilarious.
Half the stuff that they say in that show in general is so hilarious, and then all the time he's saying, "Are we still doing phrasing?" Because everything is innuendo in that show.
Dude, speaking of cartoons, I listened to a podcast and it was Seth. What's the guy? Creative Family guy, Seth MacFarlane. I didn't know that he also worked on like Cow and Chicken and like Dexter's Laboratory and a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah,
it makes total sense though.
It wasn't until he got talked down to for his adult humor in these children's shows that he's like, I'm going to pitch an adult show.
Yeah.
So then he started doing that, and then he kind of spread himself thin doing American Dad and Cleveland.
Yeah, he said that when he was doing American Dad and Family Guy, he would be like running back and forth down the hall like to both studios and he was just like, I'm just spread too thin. I can't do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean the way they did it, he picked a good crew to take over because American Dad's pretty funny.
Exactly. Yeah. This is actually this was like last week or something. Was on Logic, the rapper, has a new podcast and he was on there. That was where I heard that story.
Oh, I saw Logic with his dad.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Where he's like talking about.
He's like, Daddy, I want you to just be quiet and listen to me real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Where he's literally telling his dad like this is the breakdown of money and how money in the family works and how everyone's begging for money.
Dude, that must be crazy when you have a bunch of money and everybody is always constantly hitting you up for it.
Yeah. I'm like being a celebrity or being rich in general, like hitting the lottery or something like that sounds awful in that.
It sounds awesome,
sense.
but also awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never been in a position where my friends or family have ever asked me or begged me for money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm willing to help out where I can.
Yeah.
Without.
Yeah. You'd have to like really, I guess, know how to like set your boundaries and know what your boundaries are.
Definitely have people begging for millions of dollars, or if you have $1 million.
Yeah.
And like athletes, like of course, if I was a professional athlete and gay, I would buy my mom a house. Like I would. I would do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like without her asking or needing to ask me anything. I think my dad might be hesitant if I bought him a house
To accept it.
Accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be hard. I mean, if anybody, gives you something like that, you're like, what? Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, how? What do I owe you?
But then it would like the only people that I feel that would be begging me for money is random Facebook hacks. Hey, can I borrow some money?
People that you had to beat up doing security for their hospital bills. That's just
I've luckily never had to cover anybody.
I only bring it up because I want to hear some juicy security stories from you.
I've only been in like one situation where
you had to beat that ass.
No, I've been in plenty of those.
Yeah, you constantly have to beat that ass.
But not really.
No,
like especially in my older age, like putting hands on is the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
There's a tolerance in there where I'm like trying my best to hold because it's like I don't want to get injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the last guy that I really got in a tussle with, where I got injured, I blew out my knee on both sides. And because my upper knee went one way, my lower knee went the other way, and yeah, that sucked.
Popped like a carrot.
Yeah, still whooped him, but not that I'm bragging about it. But
how long ago was that?
It was soon after the pandemic was over.
Oh, okay. So
like 2022.
I have seen you walking with your knee brace on though, so it still affects you, huh?
Just being old and wrestling since I was in middle school.
Yeah.
that'll do that.
You teach wrestling, is that right?
I teach wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
That's cool. Dude, I was DJing a set actually this week, and a guy came on stage and invited me to a month's worth of classes just to try it out. I was like, dude, I've always wanted to.
Where at?
I could look it up in my phone, but it's just somewhere right downtown. I forget the name of the gym, but
okay.
Yeah.
Because if it's downtown, like Art of War,
it's not Art of War.
Because Art of War is really good.
Maybe I'll give him a shout out. Let me see if I can pull him up. I also ran into my other buddy, Brian Hofdahl. Shout out to Brian.
Brian.
He invited me to his MMA gym too to check
that guy
out. He does jiu-jitsu.
Brian does?
Yeah, he's a martial artist. He's been doing it for a long time.
Are you thinking Brian
Hofdahl?
Hafdahl?
Yeah.
Married to
Bevan? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to
You
him.
didn't know this?
I didn't know he was currently doing stuff.
Oh, snap.
I'm gonna hit him up. I'll roll with that kid.
I'm trying to find it. Since I can't find it, then I'll just I'll give him a shout. I'll put it in the comment or section or something. I'll shout it out. If I go do it, I'll be talking about it. So.
Oh yeah.
But I definitely want to go do it. So when I was a kid, like my dad took me to some martial arts classes and stuff, some demonstrations, and it was like really fun. And being a little kid, you're like, whoa, just like so like excited about it. But and then after that, like went a long time and just like never really paid attention to martial arts. And then the UFC started blowing up in like the early 2000s, and like I don't know, it's pretty interesting to me, and just kind of observe what I see. And I don't know, it just seems like I'm into exercising and fitness and stuff. I
don't know. I see you hiking all the time lately.
Yeah, I've been running a lot.
Yeah.
I ran 10 miles for the first time the other day, or about 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
It was gnarly.
I'm doing physical therapy on my ankle right now, and so we've been doing limitation stress. They had me run on a treadmill for as long as I could until I could stop, or until it hurt and I couldn't run anymore. And
sorry to interrupt you, but that's kind of like physical therapy in my experience a lot of times has been like not enough. So it's interesting to hear that they're like telling you to push it to that.
The physical therapist I go to he's over in Junction City, and he wears sweatpants to work. And I knew he was my physical therapist since I got my first major injury in high school. And then he always, every time I see him, he does this little dad joke where he's like, I guess you have a good case of wussitis. And it's like, no, man. That joke gets old after.
Yeah, my experience, it seems like they'll tend to baby you. But lately, I've been doing physical therapy for my neck and my back because I got in a car accident in May of last year. But like I've been doing these specific exercises for your neck and your back and stuff. But they tell me to go light. I think they just don't want me to hurt myself. But like no, I'm strong. Like I need to build the muscle. I'm just trying to strengthen certain areas so that I don't hurt myself because I can. Like I'm strong, but if I do something wrong, like then I'll pay for it for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So it's like I just need to like build these like specific muscles around certain areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, neck injury in general, like you're moving your head to do all sorts of things, and so you're just stressing it out all the time.
I get sore a lot. Yeah. Especially like I just have to like be really careful with like the way I sleep and stuff and the pillows that I use.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I just got new pillows. I'm
really?
so excited.
Nice.
Got new pillows.
I can't have like
they're just
fat pillows.
They're too fat.
Yeah.
So I went from 2 pretty good soft ones to 2 fat ones that I'm just like, they're too thick. So now I'm like breaking them in, using one at night.
Yeah.
And trying to break them in.
I got the big fluffy ones because I was thinking that would be like, oh, these are awesome. They're going to be big and soft, but they just like support your neck too much and you get taco neck and your neck's all sore the next day. I try to sleep on my back too now because sleeping on my sides messes up my shoulders and my neck and stuff.
Yeah. So I have trouble sleeping like in general. And the doctor said to not sleep on your stomach or your side. Like it's especially when you get older, it's your breathing doesn't accumulate correctly. Your ribs are gonna be out of line when
so you're not taking as deep a breaths as you might.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
So I've been trying to.
I can't imagine sleeping on my stomach now. That's so hard to do now.
But it's so comfortable until it's not.
I used to just be able to sleep in any position when I was a kid, like fall asleep with movies and music on. Now it's like I need
in the
quiet
fetal position,
and dark, and
in the middle of the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, getting old sucks.
Yeah, but that's why that's really why I think I've been like exercising a lot lately. It's just like it feels good to like just use your body. If you don't use it, you lose it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, like especially like when I hit 40, that like one of the rude awakenings is that I'm no longer at that healing stage.
Yeah.
Like I obviously felt it like when I was 16 and getting injured, it's like, really fast and do it. And then now like I hurt my ankle. Like I have a slipping tendon, the tendon band under my ankle is slipping. So it twists and goes up onto the ankle bone.
Oh, whoa.
And then, so now physical therapy has it too tight. So now it's not slipping, but now it feels like he was telling me like it's like an arrowhead that's physically up against a rubber band that's stretched, and that's what I'm feeling now every time I put my heel to the ground.
That sounds crazy.
It hurts in a different way. So I just got to get to the sweet spot of that injury,
dude.
Without going to surgery.
Injuries. I lost my toenail, my big toe, recently. I was working and I was like kicking this board, like trying to unwedge it from these bleachers so we could move them. And I just hit my toe like right on the end, and it just like pushed my nail like back into the cuticle, and it's like swelled up, and it looked really bad. Like the nail was all like off the track. I was like, oh man, am I gonna lose my toenail? What's gonna happen? Like, and then other band's practicing now. But then it swelled up
down there.
And then it was so nasty, dude. It like bursted, like squirted a bunch of fluid out the side one day. Then eventually I was just like, I gotta get the toenail off because it's dying. It's gotta go.
I've never lost a toenail, but doing construction, I was nailing off a board, and there was a metal plate in the middle of a glue lamb. And this glue lamp's made out of like white ash, so it is white and black. But I hit it with the nail, and it popped back through and went through my thumb. That was way away too, because I was like this, and I nailed it, and it went through my thumb. So it hit the metal, rode it up, and came back out through my thumb.
That's
and
crazy.
I was just like,
Yeah, all the way through.
Yeah, and so
oh my gosh,
and so it was painful. Well, at first I was in shock, and then eventually when I came down from adrenaline, it was just throbbing, hurt so bad.
Did it miss the bone, or it must have?
It
bounced, go off. The bone?
I think it went like it skimmed it.
Oof!
But it went through my thumb and through the nail, and I had to. Eventually, the nail fell off, and I was like,
yeah, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
it was weird because like. It wasn't like the most painful. It just looked awful. I was like, dude, this is not good. But I was running too. You know, I was like running with my toe all fucked up because I didn't want to stop exercising.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's that. I mean, like with my ankle, it's very. I can run for a little bit, and then once it starts hurting, I can't.
I was gonna ask you. So when they had you run, how far did you go?
I went a little over 10 miles.
10 miles?
Yeah, on a treadmill.
Holy cow!
But it's a different running, like on the street, versus running on a treadmill.
It is, yeah.
With running on the street, it's like I can mark out 5 miles, and then I could run back. Like I'm forced to.
Yeah, you have to go to get home.
To get home, I have to run 5 more miles.
Yeah.
So if you map it out that way, it forces you to do it. But like, if you're not in the mood to run, you might run the full 5 miles and then walk home.
Yeah.
But
how long did it take you to do that?
I think
Took me an hour and a half.
I was doing again. It's treadmill pace.
Yeah.
So treadmill is a little different than running just flat footed on the road. Where the treadmill, we can set it to the pace I want to go.
Yeah.
So I wanted to. Ultimately, I wanted to get there faster because I didn't want to be on the treadmill the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was making myself run at 7.5 mile pace in order to trigger that. And
if I'm running 10 miles, that's probably about the pace I'm doing. I don't want to be like running like, 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
I don't want to be running that.
Well, even like 10s is too slow. Like 10-minute miles.
Yeah.
Even
like 9.5, 10 is about what I would probably be doing a 10 miler at.
Yeah. But so go on a treadmill and force yourself to run as far as you can for like 7-minute pace.
Yeah.
And you could probably do 5 pretty easily.
Yeah. I do this little run like maybe two times a week, from my apartment to the top of the little butte in the Whitaker and back.
Oh yeah.
That's 4.25. But it's been good training because it's learn how to run up and downhill.
Oh, so you are going up the hill.
Yeah, going up the butte, yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of injured my left knee a little bit, so I took some weeks off and was just doing gym stuff and treadmill or just staying on the flat because that doesn't really bother my knee. But there's a lot of technique when you're doing the steep uphill and downhill stuff. Yeah, so I'm still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, especially running downhill, like.
Yeah, running downhill is what messes you up.
Yeah, that's the shin bone.
Yeah.
The heel.
Yeah. It was like the outside of my left
knees.
knee, like my like the top of my calf and behind my knee, like in that area would get really sore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a brace, but like I said, I took a break for a while. I was just doing flats and just weights and stuff. But I've done it a couple times now and haven't had as much issue. So I'd be more careful going downhill. It still kind of bothers me a little bit, but I'm getting better at it. I got invited. I've had some people twisting my arm to do a half marathon this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh. But I want to do it. I'm just dreading it.
So, I mean, I did
14 miles.
So I did a full marathon. I did the Portland Marathon twice. Once in hue school, once just out of high school.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Because I did cross country my senior year.
That, 26?
20 was it 26.85?
That's gnarly.
It's boring.
Oh my god!
Like that's ultimately it's too long.
You just have to keep going.
Like 13's pushing it too.
What does it take? Like 4 hours, 3 hours?
Too long. All I know is like I was going a pace like that. I was trying to keep. At first, I was trying to keep up with everybody, the pack, and then I realized that they're going way too fast.
You just have to go at your pace.
So I slowed down to something that I was comfortable with, and like we didn't have earbuds, so we had
no music,
headphones like this with a Walkman.
Oh, okay.
With a Walkman.
It'd be so hard to do with no music.
It was
you could be a psycho.
I had a CD player, but you can't run with it. It would skip. But so I was listening to the same mix of Green Day, Weezer.
I'm not sure what's worse, no headphones or just over and over.
Yeah. And then eventually I got to the point where I was alone and I'm running this thing. And then every now and then I'll see somebody pull up behind me, and then they'll eventually slowly just fade away into the... I'll try to keep pace with them. Like there's this like 90-year-old man that came up on me, and I was like, he's just like putting along. Like it doesn't even look like he's going as fast as I am.
Yeah.
And he's passing me. And then I was like, okay, I'll keep up with this old man. And eventually I don't see him anymore.
I do that too when
I
was running
I felt
races.
like I was sprinting.
I'll find somebody that we're kind of like battling a little bit back and forth, and just try to keep pace with them. Yeah. And sometimes too, when you see other people running, or when I see other people running, I'm like, for some people it looks so painful. You're like, how are you doing this right now?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And then there's like I've seen people just pick up and do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? Why?
It's just people with
I had to train. I was training cross country at that time, and then long distance and track, and then to go do the marathon. And I was at high school peak performance because I was doing 3,000 and those type of races. So like distance wasn't the problem. It just got boring.
Yeah.
And
I feel like nowadays, like when I'm running, it's if something stops me, it's not like my heart or my lungs that I need to take it easy on. It's like my knees or my hips or my feet or something like that.
Yeah, usually it's legs. I mean, the whole
could be your back, I guess.
Back, shoulders, even shoulders.
Yeah,
but
I've had weird pains in my back and shoulders when I'm running.
Sometimes like the chafing of
Dude, no kidding. Yeah, dude, it's funny. If I'm running a lot, dude, my nips get chafed, dude.
I've had those.
You gotta tape them up
like,
sometimes, or just take the shirt off, I guess.
Like Andy in The Office.
Let me hit restart on the camera real quick.
Are we at an hour and 32?
No, we are at 32 minutes.
Okay.
32 minutes.
I'm like, that clock is very different.
Yeah, I need to upgrade to the Sony A7 III so I can film more than 30 minutes at a time. I have the A7 II.
Thanks for helping out with my car the other day.
Dude, everyone kept troubleshoot it.
It was like everyone was telling me like flat out like it's your alternator, it's your alternator. I'm like, it's not my alternator.
That was my first initial response.
I mean, it would just the whole the fact that I can jump start my car, I could drive for an hour and back without turning it off.
Yeah.
The alternator would have killed that battery. That battery would have been dead for 2 hours.
That makes sense.
And so the fact that it was that, and then so the initial thing I did was I took the battery to AutoZone. They're like, your battery's full.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the alternator's obviously working.
Yeah.
Or that it would have drained that battery. And so like that, then I wanted so it wasn't the battery. My next step thinking was it was the starter, but the moment I turned the key, it would go. I can hear the clicking, but then it would just die.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't that it was dying. It's just the reserved power was the residual reserved power that was in there is what would eventually die. And it ended up being the one of the terminals was bad. Like
Dude.
It was literally split.
Yeah.
I could pull it off and on.
Working on cars is such a puzzle sometimes. Like you just have to really like think about like all the little systems and everything.
Yeah.
What possibly could be the problem, because there's so many things that could be the problem.
So yeah, thank you for helping.
Yeah. Well,
but
I didn't do much, but
I like reverse engineered it
Yeah.
from point A to point B, and then I was like, the next thing was to clean the contact or the terminal contacts. And so I used like baking soda and
that was
water.
like recently when you came over and gave me that jump start, and I figured out that because
Oh yeah,
in my car
your
the batteries in the
back.
So but there's these two terminals in the engine bay that look like you could hook the battery cables up to because there's a red and a black.
So you can.
You can.
It's reverse.
Oh.
You can't charge through that. You have to go directly to the battery.
Yeah.
But what we were doing.
But thankfully, it didn't smoke all my stuff. It just pops the first fuse.
Well, it would pop the first fuse because after a certain year they added the from the battery to the fuse box.
Yeah, there's a fuse between
there's one wire that goes there, and then so that kept popping because we were going through. That was charging that too.
So
high.
what you're saying? If I'm going to jump my car from the front, I just have to reverse the terminals?
No, it's the other way around. Okay, so if you're charging your car, you have to go through the back.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Or you're going to pop that fuse every time.
Yeah, just
and you're not going to charge.
Yeah.
But if you're charging somebody else, so if say somebody else needs a charge from you, though if your car is if your car is running and has it on those polarities, it'll go to their battery.
Weird.
So it's that way.
I never had a car that had a battery in the back, so I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
It's such a terrible
issue.
design though, because if the battery's in the back and it has a electric lock on the hatch, so if the battery's too dead to activate the electric locks, then the only way to get the battery out is to crawl into the back of the car and pull the battery out from underneath.
Yeah.
And it's such a silly design.
I had all my tools in the back of my car to work on my car. So I had to like crawl through over the seat in order to get my stuff because the power was gone. So therefore I couldn't use the back. There's no key to open it on the back because it's all electrical handled.
Exactly.
And it's so annoying.
It's so annoying. Yeah, dude, cars are they're annoying sometimes, man.
Yeah, and I mean I changed my own alternator,
but they're fun too.
A year ago.
It can be fun.
I did that.
I always enjoyed working on cars way more when I'm like modifying them than when I'm fixing them.
I know. I've seen like some of your stuff in years past where you were working on cars.
So I was building a little autocross car.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Or even like you taking apart the Celica after the crash, where you were just
parting
like,
it out.
You were parting it out,
the motor,
and you were like,
the transmission.
I have this.
Like a big gaping hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I sold like all my parts basically off of that car: engine, transmission, wheels. I mean, it had suspension, all the stuff. So the insurance company, was going to give me, whatever they thought. But so I had like a couple options. It was like, take some amount of money, or take a little less, get your car, then you can part it out, which was the route I went. So ended up getting a little more than they offered.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but I mean, it was worth it.
Yeah, I did that. Like my first like vehicle was a Geo Metro, and
those are cool.
And so I hit black ice out past Coquille and Myrtle Point area.
Yeah.
There's a hill that goes up and over and then goes toward the Winston area. But like it's like a 500-foot drop off of that side.
Oh, damn.
And I hit black ice and it spun me around. I hit the guardrail and then it spun me back the other way, and I hit the side and all the clay dirt came down on my car.
Like a pinball.
Yeah.
The car's so tiny and light.
And luckily, it was a tiny car, because if it would have been a heavy car, I would have gone over that edge.
Yeah.
But it was still drivable. Like it like crushed the corner, so I had to replace the light and replace the piece that goes or the side piece that goes over the wheel well. So I just went to my bumper. And I went to the part place and did that, but insurance totaled it out. They're all like, "Oh, this is too much.
Not worth it.
Not worth it."
Yeah.
So we're gonna total it out. We're gonna pay you out, and they gave me more than I still had on my loan.
Oh,
Shit was beans, and then they're all like, "But do you want to keep the car? If you do, it's $150."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I got money. I bought it for $150 from them.
Yeah.
And then I fixed the bumper for $75.
Yeah.
For all the parts from like a little local place over off of 99.
Yeah.
And so, part shop.
Sometimes, it's like they want to total out a vehicle, and it's like if you have a little bit of knowledge, you know how to work on cars. It's like you can fix it up. And
yeah, I have very little knowledge.
Really?
I mean,
you seem like you have some.
Well, my dad and my grandpa's. My dad was a mechanic worked on airplanes and helicopters and stuff like that, and then cars, and so he knows the ins and outs of that stuff. But sadly, he's a little harder to get a hold of now that he's over in Vegas temporarily. So I was trying to get a hold of him, and of course, by the time I get to him, I have it fixed, and he's just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like I was trying to figure out how to get my alternator last year off. Like I couldn't figure out how to get it off because it was still attached, and I all the bolts that I saw that were literally in my hand, and I'm like, why is it still attached? But apparently I had to take off this piece and it'll reveal two more. I have to take off this piece and it'll reveal two more, and then I have to the tire well, and then it's back here. There's two going into this side, and I'm just like, this. I did an
alternator on some Ford. I think it was like a little SUV, like a Escape or something like that. But it was the alternator came out of the wheel well. We had to instead of coming out the top like it normally does, and disconnecting the belt and stuff. We had to pull it out through the passenger side wheel well.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Sometimes designs are just don't make any sense.
Yeah, my dad told me. He's like, whatever you do, don't let this spring pop out. He's like, don't let the spring pop out. And I'm like, this one?
Yeah. Oh no.
And he's like, well, that's gonna be a pain to get back in because it's just a little thing, and I had to take.
Oh my gosh! Sometimes the positions that you have to hold to get your hands in.
I had to take a popsicle stick. So I took a popsicle stick and taped it to my finger, and I held it so I can get the wheel back in place, and then turn it, and then that spring loaded, and I was like,
sometimes it's the worst when you're reaching into the tiniest little spots, and you can touch the bolt you're going to, and you can only turn it a 16th of a rotation. You just have to go super slow.
Well, I have a couple tools where I can put it on there and it'll spin inside the thing without any movement.
Yeah, is that an air tool or one of those electric
I can use it with my impact or my bigger impact.
Yeah.
So, and it just has a little snake that goes.
Having the right tools makes all the difference. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bolts that you can't get off, and you have to have. You need some kind of heavy fulcrum in order to do it because
you need some torque on it.
Yeah, and you can't get the torque because you can't.
There's no space.
There's no space to get torque on it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Was there anything? We'll see. We got 15 minutes. I'm thinking about. Is there anything that we want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
We've been talking all over the place.
I know. Yeah, we've just been going off on
which
all
is
kinds
fun.
Of exactly. That's all we're doing here. But
what's your experience with? What's your biggest experience with kicking someone out security wise? Because I know you.
I think at the Big Dirty. Oops! One night I was doing security, and it doesn't really matter. This guy was karaoke. Came in, was he came in with this girl, was but getting in her face, and I don't know. It wasn't hitting her, touching her, but was just being very confrontational with her. And so we cut him off. He got outside, and he went outside, and then I wasn't gonna let him back in the building. And he tried to push past me because it was his turn to get on stage and do karaoke. He thought he was gonna go on stage after I was telling him no, you can't come in. And so he tried to push back past me, and I held him. I was pushing him back out towards the door, but everybody in the bar at that time could see that this guy was a problem, and everybody had my back, so it wasn't really even that bad. And it was just a little scuffle on the way back out the door, but I think that's it. I've had people threaten to shoot the place up after tell them they're not allowed.
That's the best.
That's oh my gosh.
I love that, and because I'm racist, kicking them out because I'm racist.
Yeah,
and it's no. you can't come in because you're too drunk to stand up.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of people coming in and out of this bar.
Yeah.
But like, it's not because of this color of your skin that I'm denying you.
No.
It's like, it's a safety thing, not only for the bar, because I mean, ultimately I'm being paid to protect the bar, whether it be the customers in it, the employees in it, the liquor license, the security staff. It's like, we all got to be safe, and like them going home safely is also, you know, of course, once they leave the building, it's kind of not on us, unless, you know, they're visible still and trying to get into their car wasted. I'm like, whoa.
This reminds me of another story. I was working at a club in Springfield. Let's see, a sexy club.
Oh.
But anyways, not super relevant. But it reminds me of this story. So I was there. I was doing security and DJing at the time. I had to do both, so that was tricky.
How do you do both?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so hard to do both because babysitting all the people at the bar, but then also trying to find the girl that you need on stage, and you got to chase them around and tell them, "Hey, it's your turn. You know, get on stage."
You weren't in charge of door at that time. At the same time, right?
Like there was no cover. It was just.
Well, I mean, like, because typically that kind of a bar
you check the IDs and
has
stuff.
has a person at the door specifically, and keeps in that front area.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was just definitely not ideal. But I had
most aren't.
Yeah, most aren't. So, anyways, there's this let's say a biker gang, two guys hanging out inside and minding their business, and this guy comes up to them and just starts like causing a scene, like telling them that they're racist and they're sexist, and they're just sitting there minding their business, and this other guy just out of nowhere starts trying to get in their faces, and then I have to tell this other guy, like, hey man, like back off, they're just chilling, minding their business, you know. And so he starts coming after me, and he like open hand like swats me in the face, and so right after that, you know, I instantly start like pushing him out towards the door, and I have these two guys in the motorcycle gang. They're on my side now. They want to beat his ass. And I'm like between it, like, no, we don't need to beat his ass. Let's just get him outside the club because he's not allowed in here anymore. And it won't be a problem. And that was just like a funny place to be in. Like both they're trying to go at it. I'm trying to get this guy out the door. You know, it was just chaos. But that was another fun time.
It always is.
Yeah. Oh, there was another time that was kind of similar. I wasn't working though; I was just in a bar, and my friends got in a fight. And I remember, my friend was trying to hit this guy, and I was holding the guy that he was trying to hit because they were trying to fight each other, and I was just like trying to separate them. But I didn't want anybody to get hurt, and I didn't even know what the issue was over. So I was like holding this guy. My friend's trying to hit this guy, but I'm like not letting him. I'm like hit this guy while my friend's trying to.
Yeah.
It was just funny. I was like protecting a guy that my friend's trying to fight, but not like let them engage. You know what I mean? It was just so silly.
Half doll, Brian. He. So I was told to, like, hey, do you want a job? From one of the other bouncers, Felix. And he's like, do you want another? Because I know him from high school. So he tells me, like, hey, do you want a job? And I was like, sure, that anything's better than where I was at that particular moment in time. So I literally walked off the job at one place that night because I was being kind of like railroaded at one job for beans. It's like, I don't want to be stabbed for minimum wage. Like something about that, like the people who do the parking lots, I don't know how, like dealing with that for minimum wage from the city sounds awful.
Yeah.
But, so I go over there, I take off my uniform for one job. I get the uniform for the new job. And so I met Brian, for the first, I think I saw him at the bars previously and got served from him. But so he's like, hey, we're going to try you out this weekend. I don't know if what it'll lead to, but first night was pretty easy. And like he saw that I'm pretty customer service oriented to begin with. So de-escalation, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Well, the second
That's
night,
key.
so the second night that I'm working, a guy was grabbing women, just going up, grabbing their boobs, grabbing their
What the fuck?
grab them by the hoo-ha.
Wow.
Grab them like a bowling ball. It was a garbage person.
Yeah, it's awful.
And so we had two bigger bouncers go up to kick him out. They was just going to kick out. And they go up to the guy, and he just had done it to another girl, and they were like, "Hey, you got to go." And he goes, "Sure." And he headbutts one of the biggest bouncer, and then cold clocks the other one. And then his cousin started jumping on the two bouncers that are being jumped. And so I hear Felix yell at me, "There's a fight." And so we went to one person at door, and I ran in, and anyone who was blindsiding bouncers, I just lateral dropped them. And I literally had accumulated 8 people that are on the ground because they're grabbing their tailbone. Because the lateral drop, I grab them from behind, pop them up with the clavicle, and drop them on their tailbone on the ground. And so I was just doing that to everybody.
Just like on the ground, groaning, holding their tailbones.
So it's like
Suplex
Kill
City.
Bill. It's like it's like Kill Bill, where like I have all these victims around, and then one guy happened to swing on me, and I took him to the ground, and I had him in a hold, and then his girl came up and tried to punch me, and I moved him over, and so she kept punching him in the face. And then Brian's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He just runs up on the situation. I'm like, that girl keeps trying to punch me. And he's like watching her just punch this guy in the face. And the guy is really sad because I have him in a seatbelt with a high arm, and so he can't do anything. I have my figure 4 around the body, and I just keep rolling him into the punches.
Oh my gosh.
And then
It's chaos.
So he's like, wow, I think we'll keep you.
So that's how you met Brian, or that's when you met Brian?
Over that weekend, yeah.
I know Brian because we used to play paintball together like 10 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, we were on a team together.
We played chess. And he whoops me
really?
all the time.
I bet he's really good at chess.
He is.
He's a
like
smart guy.
It's frustrating. Like because like I'm digital chess versus regular chess is very different. Like I'm a very visual person, and so something about seeing pieces in front of me versus on a screen, like my brain
It's like more
still has
confusing or something.
still has trouble wrapping around. Like I don't know. It just
Maybe it's that like
my mind doesn't
your
like
brain
it.
is working in 3D world where you're on the computer it's just like only 2D world.
Yeah, and for a second there, before a couple life situations, I would have a chessboard, and I would do his moves on the chessboard, so I can see it visually off of a screen. And I was doing that, but then I ran out. Started time constraints kept me from 100% doing that, and so now and we moved it to 5 days or something like that.
You guys still play?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
it still beats me.
Wow. Nice. I like little board games and stuff. There's this dice game that I like to play, 10,000. It's like super simple, just like these combos, try to get 10,000. But it's like super entertaining because like it's like the turns, they just go so fast. Like it's like super interactive, but it's pretty fun. But I also I like games, but I have a hard time like learning new ones because I'm like my brain is it's like there's too many things to constantly be learning. So sometimes I have a little resistance.
Yeah.
Like learning new things that I'm like I'm not gonna pursue.
Yeah.
You know.
I love board games, but yeah, I need somebody there to be able to read the rules and have 100% handle on it.
Yeah.
Especially for a new one.
Well, you do trivia too.
I do trivia.
Yeah.
I love trivia. Yeah.
You have a weekly show at Starlight?
Nah, bi-weekly.
A bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly. I have a weekly show up at in Albany at Southpaws.
Wow.
Other than that, I like doing trivia. So we should do trivia. We should make a team up and
That'd be
do
fun.
trivia.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not very good at trivia.
You probably know stuff that I don't.
Yeah.
And I have an eidetic memory, so that's
Weird.
why I know random.
My memory is
crap.
like with some things is great, but with like a lot of things, it's just like in one ear and like out the other.
Yeah.
I think my brain is, like I said, like if it's not something that I'm actively doing constantly, like I think my brain just puts it out because it's like can't memorize. I can only memorize what I'm focused on right now.
Yeah. Audiobooks, like audiobooks, like my brain is less inclined to remember that stuff as if than if I'm reading it myself. That's where I'm a very visual person. So if I'm reading text versus hearing text, my brain will hold on to information clearer.
That's interesting.
So
I think I'm kind of the opposite, but maybe it's because I'm just less likely to sit down and read something, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and things anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like always, if I'm exercising or if I'm alone a lot too, so I'm always just listening to YouTube and stuff, just like have something to listen to. So I think I don't know where I was going with that.
We'll have to podcast with Sean.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to get you and Sean. The three of us that'd be fun.
That would be fun. He's such a funny guy.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
How he does the rear naked choke is so funny.
I know. Yeah, we taught him that when we were working at Drake that night.
He's no, we had to fix how he learned it because that crazy guy that ended up being a trash person because he went over to one of the strip clubs over at in Springfield and started beating women.
Oh, no.
And went to jail and was like, yeah, that guy was definitely garbage when he was talking to us. And he was trying to teach ladies how to do the rear naked choke. And Sean's like, oh, how do you do it? And he's like, you do it like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that is not how you do a rear naked choke. And then Sean goes, put hands on that boy.
As soon as he learned it, he's like, I got to try it.
I don't think he's ever
actually
actually had it on somebody.
Yeah.
He always does the motion.
Yeah. But I love when I'm working and Sean's working the door. It's always fun. Or just when you guys pop in and I'm working.
He randomly because we were working together until the Drake closed.
Yeah.
And then
Halloween
we were good.
Duo. The good cop, bad cop, or the two bad cops.
He would amplify some things. Make your bitch get control. Hey, stop calling him bitch. That's making him more mad. Well, he called me the N-word. Okay, then call him whatever. But he was actually about to sing a song at karaoke recently, and some guy put hands on me when all I was doing was going to the back because of the back door triggered. So I went to go check it and make sure it's not propped open or whatever. And the guy put hands on me, and he's like, no. I'm just like, take your hands off me, man. And he's like, he's not explaining himself or why he has hands on me. And then finally, I told him, like, you need to let me go. I'm security here. You need to stop. And so I got his hands off, and then I stepped back out of the hallway. So he's stuck in the hallway. And I was like, you know what? F this. I'm going to hey, Sean. And Sean's like, we putting hands on some boy? And I'm like, this guy needs
immediately
to
got your back.
And yeah, he wouldn't move. And so we just ended up throwing him out. And then he came back, and I'm like, no, man, you got to go. And Sean, of course, it's his turn to sing. And he's just like, we're going to put hands on this guy. And I'm like, but he ended up coming back, and the cop station is just right there.
Yeah.
So we flagged the cops down. They came over, and we're like, could you tell this guy he's not allowed in here? Criminal trespass.
So
get
he
him out of
coming
here.
back in,
And he's like,
out.
they put hands on me. And he's like, they could have done a lot worse, like legally, because you put hands on one of the employees and refused to leave. They could have put you in handcuffs, held you in
all those situations
a hold position
can
until
change
we get
so
there.
fast, like just like one little detail legally, or even like physically, like with harm and stuff like that. Like it's like you have to be so like on your toes, like working security. So it's like my hat goes off to people working security because they're constantly dealing with bullshit.
Yeah, and I there's excessive force, like in both law enforcement, and then for our job too. Yeah, being we're going over.
We're over.
Oh, But yeah, so like there is too much force. Like, I'm not gonna drop my knee on someone's head while they're in a prone position.
No, you don't want to hurt people. You just want to keep people safe and like keep the.
I mean, it's hard to keep your mouth shut when you have them in a hold and they're just talking trash to you, and it's hard to ignore. But especially when they're like, "I'm gonna find your mom and I'm gonna do bad things to her," and I'm like,
saying all this personal shit,
dude, I'm gonna knock you out. Like I want to right now. I should be knocking you out.
Yeah,
like you are saying horrible things, and it's like, oh, let the Lord above.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Like I want to knock him out.
Well, good on you for restraining and just doing what you got to do.
Yeah. We'll get Sean. We'll get Sean on.
We're at an hour, so
we'll get Alex.
Yeah, I want to get those guys on here for sure. We should do one with like at least the three of us. If we can get Alex, that'd be good too. But it'd be fun to have like a little,
especially before he leaves.
Was he leaving? He's moving or what?
He might be moving back to Kentucky.
Oh, I didn't know that. Alex?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, sad days.
Yeah, sad.
We'll have to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Never been to Kentucky.
Well, you have to come back on sometime. We can talk more about toys and bar fights.
and wrestling.
Pro wrestling. Oh yeah, we didn't even get into the wrestling.
Didn't even talk about
oh dude, what are we doing here?
WrestleMania is coming up. We'll talk about it beforehand.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, dude.
We can talk about our favorite WrestleMania stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we can get the pay-per-view and we can watch it. Do a podcast.
Okay,
that'd be wild.
Love your face, Charles.
Love you too, buddy. Anything that you want to promote or let people know where to find you before we go? Any shows
let's see.
You're doing?
I'm going in April. I have a Toy Con in Salem. It's Meadowview in Salem, and then in May 4th is over at across from Beerstein. There's the
Vets Club.
The Vets Club.
Yeah.
They're having a video game expo.
Oh, sick.
A retro game expo. So I'll be there.
Okay.
And then other than that, I'll be at Anna Medford in October, early October.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you got your bi-weekly trivia
shows, Starlight.
You got karaoke Mondays at Lucky's. And you're all over the place.
Yeah.
All right.
Not like you, who's everywhere now doing sound.
Everywhere, all at once.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could have a superpower, I'd be able to multiply.
You're like Big Dirty, John Henry's,
yep.
Lucky's.
Now I'm doing gigs at Holt Center and
Matthew Knight. Yeah. Someone came in and said, and they're all at John Henry's, and they're all like, I've been working at this, and we're all like, Sean and I were talking to him and said, oh, do you know Charles? And they're all like, there's like 3 Charleses. Uh-huh. And so we showed them your picture, and they're all like, that guy's really chill and nice. And I'm like, yeah, when I met you, you had really long hair.
That's right.
And it was funny because I made the cousin, is it cousin It?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the cousin It reference because you had your hair long. Down and over your butt.
Yeah,
and down
it was like
side.
To my waist.
I was like, yeah, that's longer than most girls.
And I would like hide it like all the time.
Yeah, it'd be up in the hat.
Yeah,
you couldn't even tell.
Most people didn't even know I had hair that long.
Yeah.
My sides were all shaved.
Yeah, you had your beard and you had that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sweet. I think that's it for now. But dude, come back anytime. And yeah, let's definitely have you and Sean. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Don't podcast and drive.
Okay.